Memphis has over 12,000 nonprofits working to make our city a better place to live in. Memphis Makers explores remarkably diverse and unique nonprofits that make a daily impact on our city block by block. And I'm your host, Mark Fleischer. Each time I venture out to do an interview for Memphis Makers, I come back reinvigorated and hopeful for our future in Memphis. I'm going to be honest. Going into this, I had some preconceived notions of what a temporary shelter might be like. But the team, donors, and volunteers at Memphis Union Mission are creating an environment and a culture that are redefining what it means to help the unhoused recover and regain hope.
Gentlemen.
This is Scott Bjork, President and CEO of the Memphis Union Mission.
But we use three 75-pound commercial washing machines that are programmable. So in other words, all you do, this one's set on personals, this one's set on towels right now, is all you do is you're just taking this dial and you're putting it to whatever you're doing, whether it's blankets, and you hit the red button and all the chemicals are automatically fed in from the back. Okay? So it's pretty much takes care of itself, and then that goes into 3 85-pound dryers. But that's what these gentlemen, these wonderful volunteers do every day. And so when they get their bed ticket, we check off to make sure that they do that. But they can swap out their clothing right here. Our wonderful donors keep us stocked up with all kinds of things. So guys will take their shower. I won't take you through there, okay? But they'll take their shower. They can change out their jeans. They can change out their shirt, their slack, whatever it is that they need. You can see here, guys are sorting through socks. So we constantly providing clean, fresh clothes.
Yeah.
Here's our chapel before we get started. And we have a chapel service, a brief chapel service every day prior to lunch. And then we have another one in the evening. But we have a myriad, that's Larry Baskin right there, but we have a myriad of different chapel speakers that come. We're a non-denominational ministry. So we have a big variety. Jeff, who's standing over there, he's one of our pastors. He's a chaplain to these gentlemen here. He's been on our staff 24 years.
When you use terminology of any kind, unhoused, homeless shelter, what have you, this is certainly not what you'd expect.
Well,
It's impressive.
we believe that the people that we serve are not a lot different than we are.
Yeah, of course not.
So, I'm a Christian, and I make no bones about it. So the way we serve people is a reflection of the way we would serve Him.
Yeah.
So if Jesus showed up at my door, I would invite Him into my living room. But I'd make sure He had a good meal, a nice place to lay His head.
Yeah.
So that's Memphis Union Mission. We work with some fabulous and outstanding partners. Today, for example, in our facility, we have Christ Community Health Services. They come on Mondays and Thursdays. We've been working with them for about 22, 23 years so that the men that we serve have access to health care. We also have a partnership with the behavioral health care folks. We have one of their case managers in our facility. Brenda, she's in an office right back there. So these men have access to behavioral health case management.
Yeah, very good.
So it's very good, really terrific. And we can talk a little bit later. I'll share with you some of the health partners that we put together.
Yeah.
But this area we kind of reserve for, it's kind of more of a quiet area. There's no TVs in here. I mentioned we didn't take a look at this. So maybe we'll look over here. But we have 4 dorms on that side of the building. And what we've done is we've kind of spaced them around the facility so that kind of keeps it nice and quiet at night. But I'll show you. We'll duck our head in one of the dorms over here. Here's one of our dorms. This dorm has capacity for 40 men. When we were in our building design, actually construction, it was during COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with that. But you can see the 6-foot spacing for everything.
Yeah.
It was all of our linens and everything else are washed every day. We don't do it once a week. We do it every day. And that's because we don't want communicable diseases going through here. So we have very, very, very little issues with things like the flu or colds or whatever. One of the questions I'm always asked is, what about bed bugs? We don't have a bed bug issue. you take these mattresses are all sealed. And of course, this is all steel, so there's no place for them to go. If you go into a hotel room or a hotel washroom, the bathrooms have an individual sink, toilet, shower, vanity, so that as men come in, they have that expectation of modesty, the same as that we would expect.
Yeah.
And all of our fixtures are stainless steel. Our supervisors right now are kind of scattered through the building.
Yeah.
But this is their station. It's elevated for a reason, and one of the reasons is that they have better visibility. We have in a combination of phase 1 and phase 2, we have probably well over 100 cameras. So this is a very secure facility, and we can pull up. These are some of the views that the supervisors like to see, but in my office, for example, I'm pulling up different camera views during different times of the day, so I can be kind of keeping my eye on things. So what we do is we give them a ticket, okay, and they take the bottom off of it when they check in. Just like the airlines, just like TSA. There's a box over here. If it can fit in there, they can check it in. And then that way they don't have to worry about it, somebody rifling through it.
Yeah.
It's secure. They want to check out, they just show their tag, and one of our men will grab it for them, and they can be on their way.
Yeah.
So it's just a good way of securing things.
Yeah.
But this is our check-in area. A couple of policies that we put in place years ago, and they really worked well. Once you check in, you must stay in. So we don't have this revolving door going back.
Yeah.
The other is that you must check in. In other words, we need to know who's in the facility. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get certain basic information and that sort of thing. So I know who's in the facility.
Yeah.
And then we can also use that to kind of be preparing for meals, so we're not wasting food. I'm fine. Michael is our front desk supervisor. He does all the check-in, and what he's doing is getting some basic information. And then we also take a picture for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
As you can see, the facility is very secure. All of these doors, for example, you can always exit, but there's certain times when you can't come in. Michael, can you let us in here? Michael uses a software system, a check-in software system known as Mission Tracker. I don't know the last count, but I want to say, Michael, what do you think? There are about 250 missions around the country that use it. So it's a software that's been built for missions like us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Oh, I see.
That really works well. We can tell you, for example, we can go back and tell you if an individual stayed with us, the dates. We can tell you what bed they slept in.
Yeah.
Okay. We can tell you the last time they were here. We have a photograph of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get all that information, and that also helps us. In the past, we've had calls from as far away as New York City looking for people that we've been able to help locate.
Yeah. So I'm very interested in the history of not just the building itself, but of course the mission. Memphis mission. Mm-hmm. What's the history of the mission look like?
Well, there was a gentleman who was a businessman here in Memphis, T. Walker Lewis, mm-hmm. who back in the 40s, as World War II was kind of unwinding, noticed a lot of men that were on the streets. At that time, it was more alcoholics. Mm-hmm. And he said, we've got to do something about this. So he was a member of the YMCA membership committee, and they had a meeting. And he announced at that meeting, he said, we've got to do something about this. I brought someone in who has been part of a mission on the East Coast. Anybody who's interested, stay after. 17 men stayed. That was April 17th, 1945. And so those 17 men met again about a week later, and they each one of them brought another 3 or 4 guys. So 54 individuals showed up, and they founded Memphis Union Mission. Memphis Union Mission was actually incorporated in 1945 to meet some of the needs that they saw on the street.
Yeah.
So over the years, the mission has moved from different locations. Our current location in this facility right behind us, 383 Poplar, the old facility, the mission moved there in 1960, 61. So we've been basically in this area since the 60s.
Okay.
But 1945.
And in 1945 also, as you move further into 1945 and in 1946, you've got a lot of veterans who have come back and probably struggled. And I'm certain there were some veterans who ended up finding their place at the mission, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this facility has been here for how long then?
Well, we occupied this particular facility that we're in here.
Yeah.
I think it was about the 1st of October, 2000. So right kind of on the heels towards the end of the pandemic.
Okay. So in 2020?
2020.
21. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So here we are on the corner of Danny Thomas and Poplar. You know, just northeast of downtown. This serves this part of the population, but also there are other locations around the city. Correct?
There are.
Yeah.
There are. This facility here, which we call the Opportunity Center, you could say it's kind of like the mouth of a funnel. It's not our objective that people stay here into perpetuity.
Yeah.
So we have a long-term recovery program located out off of Bengestown Road near Shelby Forest. And we have capacity there for 46 men at a time. It's a beautiful estate, 160 acres. We have a 12-acre lake on the property. But we have 46 men out there, or up to 46 men, in a 6-month recovery program. And that's to meet the needs of those that are on the street who have a substance abuse issue. When they graduate from that program, we have a transitional facility that we put together back in 2000, 2001 by a wonderful businessman here in Memphis. He found the property for us. He actually put the down payment down, and his company paid the mortgage off. So we have 26 men that are in transition, either going to school, working full-time, or a combination of working part-time and going to school part-time in that facility. And so we actually will scholarship men there to go to Moore Tech or some of the other places, so that when they leave us, they can go out and do very, very well. We acquired a facility up the street here, 600 Poplar, that we call our extended stay program. And these are men who are homeless, but yet at the same time may have a job, a part-time job. They've got some other things positively going on, so they will stay there. We have up to 50 men there at a time at that facility. But to take care of women and children, we built a beautiful facility back in 2006. I think we occupied it 2007, where we have women and their smaller children.
Is that the Mariah?
The Mariah House, yes.
House?
Mariah House, I believe, is one of the best kept secrets in our city for women who are broken, who need help, who need a chance to start over, to learn the things that they didn't know that led them into the situations that they were in that brought them here. We help women who have substance abuse issues, if they're pregnant with nowhere to go, or they are in a domestic violence situation. They can come here with their children and stay here for a year and get the counseling they need to de-stress and learn skills, life skills, parenting skills, financial skills, job search skills. They can get their GED, all of those things. And it's a wonderful opportunity to come aside because we take care of everything else that she needs. We provide housing, we provide clothing, we provide toiletry items, anything that she would need. She does not have to worry about any of those things. It's a gift from God's people in this community to come in here and to get a reset for her life. And it really can change the entire course of her life. And once she graduates, she also knows how to budget, she knows how to save, she knows how to parent well, all those. And we encourage her to establish healthy relationships so that when she leaves out of here, it's not the end with us. She can still interact with us, but we want to help her learn how to recognize unhealthy, unstable people and avoid them, and to move toward people who are healthy and who sees her with the eyes that God sees her.
How many men does the facility take care of here in this facility? How many, like, on a daily basis?
Well, if we start with a system-wide number, system-wide, all of our facilities, we've been averaging close to 400 or right around 400 a day.
Yeah.
We'll have some seasonal peaks, like in the wintertime, we may be up to 460. In this facility, from a bed capacity and overflow capacity, we can serve up to 300.
What does the process look like? Someone comes in, someone is referred here. What does that process look like for the individual when they come in?
Well, they come and check in. We start checking in at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, if we have some bad weather or inclement weather or whatever, they can come in, sit in that front lobby, early in the morning. Our supervisors make sure that that's accessible. When they check in, they provide us certain information. And what we like them to do within a specific period of time is we like them to meet with one of our staff.
Yeah.
But essentially, they're coming to us because they have needs. I would say that our population here is pretty much a mirror of what we see in our city.
Yeah.
It's more of a reflection of that.
Right.
We don't care for individuals under the age of 18. So, that's kind of one of those screening criteria. If we do get an individual that's under 18, we generally speaking, we don't have to do this very often at all, but we will contact MPD.
Yeah.
There's something else going on there.
How often do you see men, let's say 30s, 40s, middle age, that are newly unhoused?
I think that's difficult to answer because I think homelessness often is transitory because it's where did you stay last?
Yeah.
In other words, resources may have given out or you may have burned that bridge somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, it's not that easy to say that first time, because oftentimes, there's that stigma with being homeless. An individual does not want to self-identify that I'm just on the street because I got kicked out.
This being a mission, this is designed to be temporary, right? So when you take in an individual, what are some of the resources that you all have and what are some of the services you provide to make sure that this is a temporary thing and that they have an opportunity to find success, beyond their stay here?
Well, Mark,
it's a variety of things, I know, but
your point is designed to be temporary. That's easier said than done.
For sure, yeah.
Because here locally, the issue is safe housing. Individuals that come to us that may have a source of income or limited income oftentimes would rather stay here as opposed to go in what they consider to be unsafe and or subsidized housing. So it's not our objective to have them continue to stay here, but their alternatives in many cases are not great. As you go through the building, you'll see a lot of individuals that are handicapped that are on walkers or wheelchairs. It's because they don't really have a lot of options.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's not designed to, this is not a permanent housing facility. So your question about what are some of the resources, how do we triage that?
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, we want to find out if there's a medical issue going on or a behavioral health issue.
Yeah.
Locally, nationally, about a third of homeless individuals have that type of issue going on in their life. So we have what we call the medical track. So if they're in that medical track, we want to make sure that they're seeing our partners, Christ Community Health Services, Baptist Outreach. We want them to avail themselves of some of the specialty groups that come in. We have students from Baptist and Lowenstein School of Nursing coming in that help do diabetes screening, heart screening, et cetera. So we have a lot of different medical providers that are rotating in and out on a regular basis. And then when they complete that, then they're eligible to go out to Calvary County, where they can be for 6 months in a long-term recovery program.
Yeah.
So there are those type of individuals out there. You have your circumstantial homelessness. You know, someone may have been divorced, has no resources, so he's kicked out of the house, or there's some economic reasons why people are on the street, lost a job or whatever. So we have what we call a work or an employment track, where we're trying to work with those individuals to either regain employment or, you know, get back on their feet. And what we like to do is then move them out of this facility over to our extended stay program, where, you know, they have the option of coming and going at different hours, et cetera. Here we have to pretty much keep the same structure. How can you help someone who doesn't have a high school education or a GED get a meaningful job? If you look at the majority of the larger employers here in Memphis, that's probably a bare minimum.
Yeah.
So what Memphis Union Mission did years ago was we hired our own GED administrator. So we encourage those guys, if they enroll in our recovery program, it is mandatory for them to be working on their GED or equivalent. Because then, now they're eligible to go to more tech.
Yeah.
Or they're eligible for some of these other things. So, in other words, we're not here to become the city's largest bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is encourage them to do what they can do. We have what we call kind of our RA program, where someone says, you know, I am willing to kind of help out. So we may assign them some chores to do, and we put them in that RA track. We also have what we call our VIP track. And you'll see the guys with the lanyards on. And what's the VIP track? It's a guy that comes in and he self-identifies and he says, you know, I do have a source of income, but it's not enough for me really to do what I need to do at this point in time.
Yeah.
And so we put them in a separate track, and our goal is eventually help them move on.
Yeah.
So we do a variety of different things, you know. And
Yeah, with these different tracks and different circumstances, you know, you rely on a lot of community partners, you know, and we looked at, for example, Baptist and
Christ Community Health
Christ
Services,
Community,
great partner.
yeah, and there has to be others too, I would imagine, that are some partners that assist with these processes. Yeah.
Well, Mark, I know this sounds like I'm stretching this, but we, in this facility alone, probably average about 800 volunteers a month.
Wow, wow.
About 800, doing a variety or myriad of different things. But we have so many community partners as well. And
Yeah.
I'm going to put a plug in here for Walgreens. They're probably going to get upset with me, but Walgreens has been our partner for years. And they will come in and provide flu shots for the guys, immunizations, etc. That is a great partnership, because one of the concerns that we always have with our population is there's a certain amount of fragility from a health standpoint. And so we want to make sure that in terms of everyone that's in here, they've got good access to health care. And I want to brag on Shelby County Health Department too, and I'm not going to go into the details, but if we suspect certain health issues are going on, they'll help us, they'll step in. So we kind of self-identify certain individuals, and they will actually come over here and take them to the health department and do the screening, diagnostics that need to be done. So we've got great partners like that. Again, I mentioned the schools of nursing. Campbell Clinic comes in periodically, does a podiatry clinic. We've had the mobile dental van here. I know I'm forgetting folks, but we've got a lot of community partners, and we're so grateful for that, because Memphis is a very caring community.
You know, I think about this in terms of there's a huge deficit of hope. There's a sense, as we were walking around, I feel like there was a sense that that is a big part of what you do here, is help rejuvenate some hope.
Well, I would say first and foremost, you know, we have to realize that homeless individuals are no different than us. Most of us had a need or have a need to be in community. You know, God didn't create us to be loners.
Right.
So in terms of facility design, one of the things that we were very cognizant about was how do we create this sense of community the sense of belonging, so that that individual who feels so isolated, so hopeless, can start regaining that, in his life. So as you walk through the facility, we don't have a day room per se. We have what we call a circulation area, which is our living room. So guys can kind of sit with each other, they can play games. We have 3 large screen TVs. The one in the middle, for example, is the sports group. That's a lot of community going on there, with the different games. I mean, we'll put the Tigers games on, we'll put Tennessee on when they're playing, we'll put the different Grizzlies on. And guys really love that, they enjoy that. And then we have the MeTV crowd down on the other end. They love the reruns, the old shows. And then we have more of the contemporary. So guys can start feeling like they're in community, and they can start, playing checkers or chess or dominoes or cards or something like that.
Do you have any individual stories that you find particularly touching, or that things that you think about, or people you think about that where you feel like you really made a huge difference in their lives?
Where would I start? I'll share the last one with you. As I was coming in this morning, one of the men in the dining room area asked me my name. And I told him. And he said, "Thank you." And I said, "Thank you for what?" For letting me be here. But yes, you can go on our website, you can get our newsletter, and we try to provide those anecdotal stories of individuals that we've helped and we've served. But to me, it's just a great delight to see someone come in here who may have been on the street, maybe been addicted to something, and then a year and a half later leave us to go into their own apartment. We've even had individuals buy their own house, complete not only their education, complete their GED or equivalent, get a meaningful job. The guys that we sent to Tech that have graduated with HVAC certifications or welding or some of these other things, to see them doing well. I got a call here recently by one of our program grads that wanted to let me know that he was doing well. He had recently been married, sent me some of his wedding pictures.
Wow, very good.
And was just saying, thank you, not to me, but to the mission and to our donors.
You mentioned, all the volunteers that work here. How can folks get involved?
Well, we keep a volunteer calendar, and quite candidly, when it comes to groups, we book up very quickly. Yesterday, we had a team from FedEx in here volunteering. We have a lot of corporate volunteers. Many companies encourage their teams, if you will, to do some volunteer activities together, and we love them to come here. It's a lot of fun. Now, they may be coming in to help prepare a meal or serve a meal or some of these other things, and that's always fun. It kind of takes the load off of us, if you will, and we enjoy that, we encourage that. But we have individual volunteers. For example, you'll see oftentimes in our laundry and our donation distribution area, we'll have volunteers in there. We've even had MPD in here volunteering. Our front desk often will have some volunteers up there. Well, Mark, I asked you what your expectation was of Memphis Union Mission. And you said you really didn't know what to expect. And so I say that to your viewers. I would love to give you a personal tour of our facilities. I hate to say this, because I think if you live in our area, you really need to understand what resources are available to serve people. And I think as a Memphian or a resident of Western Tennessee, you would be very proud to see the way we're serving homeless individuals in our area and some of the resources. But if you don't know, obviously, that's a good way to come see us. Love giving tours. Love giving tours.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for
Thank you, Mark.
for
Appreciate
hosting
it.
us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Our
you.
pleasure.
For the
Thank you
tour
for
and
coming.
everything else. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. For more information, visit memphisunionmission.org.
Friends of the Library helps to raise money for all 18 Memphis Public Library locations, their programs, and services. Donate as a one-time monthly or yearly contribution to help us continue to serve the approximately 2 million customers who enter Memphis Public Libraries annually.
You're watching the Library Channel, a broadcast service of the Memphis Public Libraries and the City of Memphis.